Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cast, another Escalation game. Guys, today I am bringing you the rematch of the century, the two TA Titans, the two gods, the two war heroes, the veterans, these two players, such a great matchup for one another. Mr. Tag Rock, of course, solid as a boulder. This man plays out of his mind. He is just the immovable object, but here in the red, EXE is the unstoppable force, the trickster, the aerial god. This man is also one of my viewers' favorite players. One of my favorite players, too, and one of my favorite people. EXE, looking for revenge. Guys, this set is going to be a best of three, so we're going to have 3 games. I have not pre-watched these recordings, so I don't know who wins. I don't even know what happens. I don't even know if EXE tries to pick his commander up in a transport and calm bomb his opponent Rock. I have no idea. Anything could happen. It's an EXE and Rock game, so these two guys gave us quite a show, quite a performance in my last cast with them. So I am sure they will do the same again this time. But before I jump into this match, guys, if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want to play some games with my community, join the Discord. I will post the link in the description. We would love to have you. You could be part of one of my future casts. You never know. But guys, with that, let's jump into this game. This is the map is called Green Ace Pro. This is the Pro remake. So you can thank Rock. I think Rock and Venom doing a lot of work on the remakes. Now the map is interesting. It's actually designed for 2v2. It's very vertically challenged, or maybe we'll say it's horizontally challenged, because it happens to be a very narrow path to the north and south, and so the combat does happen very quickly. But having said that, it is still pretty open. There's a couple hills or mountainous sort of terrain here and there, but overall, it is a pretty open map, so lots of micromanagement. And EXE, being a little bit greedy here, he hasn't even built a single missile turret or light laser tower, so he will do that now. He will start his first pulverizer. He doesn't want to give Rock free harassment of his base, but EXE being very greedy, starting with levelers. Guys, levelers are expensive. The leveler has been called a T1.5 unit in Escalation because they are very, very strong, but also very expensive. And so typically you do not see these until the late T1 phase. So like maybe around the 8 to 10 minute mark, or even later than that, before the game goes to T2. So to build these early, like EXE has, he's got some kind of plan, some kind of strange, bizarro strategy. Both players are core, and Rock also building levelers as well. Maybe he saw that EXE had levelers, so he will not be caught off guard by this shenanigans today. But typically, if Rock did not have his own levelers, this could be a very dire situation for our orange player, because levelers just shred through instigators very, very quickly. Most other T1 units as well. But now Rock with his own levelers will push EXE back. And with a nice light laser tower. I mentioned in the last game that I casted between these two that Rock's positioning of his defenses is just always so clean. It's always so well designed. His bases, oh, that's maybe a bit much. Something like that. But yeah, Rock, a very, very difficult opponent to catch off guard. It's just the way it is. I don't know why. He's just had a ton of experience. It's just his play style. And now going for his second vehicle plant. Let's see how many cons he has. He's got 2 cons on the field. And going for his second vehicle plant. So wind on this map is not great. It's like, I think it's like between 6 and 14 something, so it's pretty unreliable. Maybe it's 8 to 14. Either way, it's not great. It's kind of unreliable, and it doesn't surprise me that Rock is going solars because it is the more reliable form of energy on this kind of map. EXE, of course, taking his chances with the RNG. The wind gods praying for wind. Do any of my viewers know a mythology, a wind god in some form of mythology? I guess I don't know off the top of my head what that would be. But yeah, either way, Rock very defended here and in a very good position because he's on 2 vehicle plants already. And the EXE, I think, only has this 1 con. EXE actually very slow start here. EXE did pump out those levelers for some early aggression, but it didn't work out. Rock was prepared. And now EXE, I think, is going to fall behind. If you look at the medal, EXE only at 13 to Rock's 27, so making less than half. Rock has the macro advantage for sure. EXE only with the 1 con, and it is assisting his lab, where Rock's cons are spreading out over the map, spreading his tendrils out to try and claim as much territory as possible as, man. Yeah, EXE in a strange situation here. Struggling with the energy as well, as these wind generators are just not panning out too well. Not really panning out the way I'm sure he'd hopes. And throwing up a K-Bot lab second. So EXE will go into K-Bots as his second option, but I do feel that Rock has firm control of this game. Economically, he's ahead. He has more of the map, and he's got these patrols just outside of EXE's base, preventing him from expanding that easily. EXE with a very slow start. That doesn't mean he's out of it, though. He will find some instigators with his leveler. And like I said, the leveler's very strong against these battle tanks. Main battle tank. EXE with some nice D-guns. The instigators will be pushed back. So EXE still in an okay position. The game will continue. But yeah, typically in these games, EXE is the aggressor. So to see him playing defensively here, it's a little bit unnerving. It's a little concerning. Rock definitely expanding much more quickly. And that will probably continue as EXE going K-Bot second means K-Bots don't really move that quickly. The cons are slower. Now the advantage, so my viewers might be thinking, well, if the K-Bot cons are slower, why would you ever build them? It is true that the construction vehicles are much faster. They can get around the map in a much more speedy fashion. But the construction K-Bots are significantly cheaper. It's almost like 2 construction K-Bots. Hold that thought. EXE getting surrounded here. A lot of instigators. And even though the levelers are very good against instigators, the instigators with the nice surround, good micro by Rock, and good job finding him as well. I don't even know how he found EXE back here, hidden in that little corner, but he does sniff him out. EXE will be forced to retreat. But as I was saying, you can basically get 2 construction K-bots for each construction vehicle. So being able to have more cons, sometimes better than having a faster one. You can simply participate in more projects at once, and sometimes that makes up the difference. But EXE going into storms, Harold has called it a storm meta. I've said before that storms and Rockos are kind of the king of T1. They are very good at outranging everything else and just kiting the enemy into oblivion. Of course, once the game hits T2, they do fall off very quickly. So you've got to be careful about overcommitting to storms. Rock finding a con out of position there. And EXE struggling to expand to his west as Rock is simply not allowing him free reign his side of the map. EXE pushing down with some more levelers. Game continues to be pretty even, but Rock definitely ahead economically in both and in terms of his position, and he's got a bigger army. And despite what they may tell you, size does matter, my friends. And right now, Rock is bigger. Good attack here at the southeast corner. EXE's base. He will lose a mechs, and now forced to retreat this con. Rock's withering pressure putting EXE into a bit of a chokehold here. He needs to push Rock out of his base so that he can expand. He can't let Rock keep him on the ropes like this because he's not able to do much. He can't really get out of his corner of the map with Rock keeping up this constant pressure, killing his mexes, preventing expansion, while Rock is expanding like an absolute maniac on his side. Now, Rock has an important decision here. There's basically 2 options in this situation. He can either go to T2, which is what a normal escalation player would do, but Rock is not a normal escalation player. He is more of an old-style OTA and now Pro-TA player. The second option is to simply ramp up your macro and spam out an absolute shitload of T1 units. Pardon my French, but that is simply the best way to put it. Just pumping out so many T1 units. He's going to try to kill EXE and win the game now, and not let it go into the T2 and perhaps even T3 phase. Dare we believe? Dare we hope for a T3 1v1 game? Those are always super fun to cast. But dare we hope for that? Rock, if he has it his way, will not even allow the game to get to T2. He wants to end it quickly, going for a heavily macroed T1 strategy, trying to overwhelm EXE and kill him quickly, kill the cancer before it can spread. Rock is the chemotherapy. Can EXE survive long enough to get to T2 himself, or to go air? Air is another option at this stage. Air is quite an expensive investment. You both have to pay for the aircraft plant, which is like 800 metal or something like that. And then if you're going to, sometimes you go multiple aircraft plants. So that's, 1600 metal. Plus you have to build the planes. The planes don't often cost that much metal, but they cost a lot of energy, which means you have to build tons of energy eco, which costs more metal. So going air at the T1 phase is an investment. EXE could certainly try that. That would be something he's known for. But right now, content to push Rock back. I have to say, even though Rock has the bigger army by far, EXE having the better composition. As I said, Storm's king of T1. They will win all these engagements. They outrange almost everything. The only thing they don't outrange, I guess, are some of the missile trucks and thuds, but Storms are much more accurate. They do more damage as well than thuds. So, EXE with the better composition, and he will stabilize at the north part of the map, and he will now retain control of his base. He will not lose everything. It was looking quite scary there, but Rock has decided to go to T2 now, probably realizing he's not going to win on the T1 phase, and has even reclaimed 2 of his labs. So that strategy, his original plan of trying to win on T1, he has abandoned. He's reclaimed 2 labs. He's gone into T2. Now he's going to pump out Pyros. And in the meantime, EXE, a scary-looking death ball moving down the center of the map of Storms and Instigators. And that is quite a formidable army indeed. But Rock is so good at this. I want to say Rock is really good at moving around with raiding squadrons that are just too much of a problem to ignore, but also difficult to really deal with. But EXE kind of knocking on the door, or standing on the doorstep of Rock's northeastern base. Rock does have some light laser towers, but that's not going to really stop this on its own. He will need these Pyros, I think, to push this back. However, EXE only now starting T2, so EXE will be significantly behind. So EXE really needs to apply the pressure here. Put Rock on the back foot, prevent Rock from just expanding as he pleases. Another great thing EXE is doing is including these Voyeurs, the T1 mobile radars. That will give him great vision coverage. And now the first Pyros of the game are making it to the front. And this could be a bit of a problem. Pyros have a decent range, and they're fast. And they have a reasonable amount of health. They are T2 after all. And they're great at raiding, so EXE needs to deal with these Pyros. He can't just let them rampage around in his base. He's doing what he can now to halt the aggression. But Rock in the driver's seat for sure, making it to T2 a whole 3 to 5 minutes faster. EXE not even on T2 yet. Oh, this is a scary situation. EXE in trouble. This could be the army that wins the game. EXE's commander on the left side, so the D-gun will not be a factor. The D-gun would be a nice option in this situation. But Rock lucky that EXE not here. Or maybe Rock actually playing around the fact that he knows that EXE's commander is on the west side of the map. So EXE has to mount an effective defense here or lose the game. It looks like a dire situation, but if anybody can do it, it's EXE. Bringing his commander down to D-gun the HLT. That is the most EXE thing I've ever seen in my entire life. See how much his commander took, about half health. He lost about half of his health with that play. But EXE probably aware that he's in a dire situation and needs to do something. Needs to do something crazy. It's like that line from Master of Disguise That sounds crazy. In fact, it's so crazy, it just might work. EXE. Oh, he's got to be dead, though. This is a terrible situation. Oh, that D-gun was picture perfect, though. Oh, no! And now he's climbing up the mountain. What are you doing, EXE? And also, somehow, some way, holding off this attack at the top while using his commander like a bludgeoning tool. EXE, this man is absolutely insane. Somebody put him in a jacket and take him away. What are you doing, sir? Even Rock is fucking confused. I'm confused. I'm sure all my viewers are confused. Everyone's confused. Even EXE looks a little confused. And yeah, I think that's probably going to be it. His commander too low. But nice game. That was a good game one. Very well played by both people. But yeah, Rock just got such an early advantage. I think EXE really gambled with the early leveler strategy. You know, that's not normally something you would see on a map like this, guys. It's there's pretty long distance between the two bases. Typically, the first thing you build after you complete your vehicle plant is constructors or maybe a couple scouts, but to go straight into levelers like that, it is a risky gambit, and so EXE took a big gamble and it didn't pay off. Rock, I think, was able to scout that out before it reached his side of the map, and then EXE just fell too far behind. But nonetheless, let's give EXE props for going out with a bang. He didn't just die like a coward. He went in there and he went out with a bang. So what a great game one, guys. Let's move on to the next game and see if in this best of 3 EXE can reclaim his honor against Mr. Tag Rock. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Game 2 of our best of 3 between these two amazing players. In the first game on Green Ace, Rock did get the best of EXE. EXE tried a kind of a gambly all-in strat, and it didn't really pay off. But this time, can he come up with something that will catch Rock off guard and perhaps give him the unexpected victory early on? Or maybe EXE just wants to play more of a traditional style game. Perhaps he doesn't want to do anything too crazy, but of course, it's not like EXE at all. Crazy is what EXE loves to do. So, again, these two players perfectly fit for one another. I think their styles are just very complementary. So, one thing that's already a little surprising is that EXE is going K-Bots first. Guys, this map is basically Comet Catcher. It's called Dark Comet, but it's essentially like a remake of Comet Catcher, like a smaller version. But it's the same thing. It's just an open map with lots of metal and no wind. But it is customary on Comet Catcher to go vehicles first. It's just the way it's always been, because vehicles are faster. K-Bots are typically better in shorter distances or on uneven terrain where the K-Bots can use their acceleration and better maneuverability to claim out the win. But in any case, yeah, Rock playing a more traditional style here, going vehicles on this map is, again, more normal, more expected. And as you can see, Rock also building pulverizers at the start. So this is designed purposely to stop EXE from sending scouts to harass his backline economy. But we'll have to see if EXE's little gambit, again, this decision to go K-Bots on this map is a bit of a gamble. Pee-wee, of course, it's going to be a little unexpected, I think, for Rock, who I'm sure expects EXE to do what everyone does on this map and go vehicles. But we'll see if EXE can make K-Bots work. I'm not sold on it. K-Bots are just very slow. It's going to take these cons forever to get around the map. And already EXE in a bit of trouble as these weasels are going to come down here and harass his base, cause some economic trauma. So already we start to see the problems with going K-Bots as these two construction K-Bots, it took them a while to get out here and build this metal extractor. And maybe a vehicle could have built this and maybe even gotten a missile turret up before the weasels made it down here. So already EXE getting a little bit punished for his decision, and maybe even more punished as these weasels come and begin to harass the con. But fortunately, the Pee-wees will be there in time to stop this. However, Rock still in the dominant position here. Vehicles are very good on this map because they can move across the vast distances quite quickly and expand, where with the cons it does take quite a bit of time. And EXE almost acknowledging that, going vehicles second. So again, I don't know if this decision to go K-Bots first was worth it. We will still have to see how it pans out. But in these open areas, in these open battlefields, vehicles are king. Unless you can just get a huge army of storms. Right now, it doesn't look like EXE even going to attempt that, as he will switch into vehicles quickly. So I'm not sure why EXE even went K-Bots first. Just trying something new, but I think perhaps it didn't work out the way he had hoped. Rock already with a nice advantage early on, just in terms of the map. You can see he's spreading out very effectively. And EXE struggling, just getting his first flash out. But now already Rock with 4 instigators coming down. And there's some nice defenses, a couple LLTs to ward off this aggression for now, but we don't know how long that's going to last. EXE asking Rock why he's running. I too would like to know why Rock is running. Rock definitely with a superior force here. Instigators are going to beat Pee-wees every day of the week in equal numbers. Flash is now on the field, and there is a single light laser tower. But EXE is going to have to defend this with his dear life. A lot of flashes coming out, though, so EXE has transitioned into vehicles. And now in a position to defend himself at the very least. But this is coming at the cost of his ability to expand. He does, of course, still have these K-Bots, the cons, but it will take them a while to fully get out onto the map. Nice little engage here by EXE if he can surround these. EMGs, very short range. Decent micro here. And EXE throwing up a radar as well. Yeah, so it's an interesting situation. EXE definitely not out of it. The players are actually pretty even, despite the fact that EXE going K-Bot first did seem to put him behind. He's not that far behind now. He's got a little bit, I think, less metal working on his second vehicle plant. He's got a little less energy too, so EXE a little bit behind economically, but not a game-ending amount. He can still come back. He can still find a way to make this game work for him, or find a way to overcome his rival Rock. But building more energy, he is behind on energy. He's over 100 behind Rock, and as you can see, Rock just with the better map control as well. EXE doing what he can. He's got some scouts up here, a couple flashes and things. And Rock looking for an approach. He will fail to kill that Mex for now. He will get that Mex, and he's going to get this Mex. So Rock now dealing economic damage to EXE, which is not good. EXE already a little behind. Now falling further behind. This one Instigator is so annoying. Taking out 4 Mexes if you include this one. Or excuse me, 3 Mexes. But EXE with some harassment of his own. These scouts are coming in. They're going to try to get some retaliation done. Can EXE do enough damage to keep himself in the game? He's still really not that far behind. That's a lot of scouts, but Rock is ready. There's quite a few Instigators here, and probably almost finished with this LLT. These Instigators are going to clean this up quickly. And that is a big investment into scouts that may just end up doing nothing. Rock now claiming near the middle of the map. Not quite the center, but close. And now pushing down the south as well. So EXE scrambling. Lurching from one emergency to the next as Instigators pushing down the middle and pushing down the south. Creating a very volatile situation for a red player, EXE. I just don't know if he has enough to stop this. To stop one attack. But Rock attacking from 2 entrances may prove to be EXE's undoing here. EXE is sending some flashes up now to stop this attack in the middle, but will lose some more eco in the process. So EXE is hanging on, so we'll give him credit for that, but again, at what cost? Rock is expanding out almost unopposed here. EXE not even able to apply pressure anymore because he's got to use all of his forces to defend his base, which really does not have that many structures. It doesn't have that many stationary turrets or missile towers. He's going to have to use his mobile army for the most part. There are a couple LLTs here, so EXE not completely undefended, but he doesn't have enough to really ward off an attack, any kind of dedicated attack by our orange player. And he's going to have to use his flashes very well. It will come down to micro. EXE needs to move his force as one. He really needs all these flashes. But Rock still on T1. Not going to T2 like last game. 12 minutes in, it is normal. It is customary for at least one player to be working on T2. But in this game, both of our players still on the T1 phase. Rock moving through the south a little bit with these Instigators. But EXE here in the middle, trying to get his own harassment done. Could he find Rock's commander and end the game like that? I don't think he has quite enough. Rock is prepared for this and now even building a light laser tower. EXE, could he have found an entrance here? Rock not microing this very well. Rock's attention is in the bottom right corner of the map, where he is doing his own raiding. And things looking bad for EXE. He could die here. He's gonna need some good D guns. Does kill one, but now his vehicle plant's in trouble. If these vehicle plants die, this could be it. EXE bringing flashes in defense. But Rock really has run of his base now, and just dealing crippling economic damage to him. This is such a difficult thing to watch. I think we've all been in this situation 100 times where you're just falling more and more behind, and it feels like no matter what you do, you can't really catch up. Rock's base now uncontested. Rock able to expand with impunity, and EXE fighting for his life. Again, it's just a terrible situation to be in. But we shouldn't give up on EXE, but the problem is Rock is not only expanding, but he's defending his expansions as well. Lots of light laser towers. It's going to be difficult to raid that. EXE really does need to get some raiding done if he wants to equalize the playing field. EXE with the better numbers in this engagement, though, so the game will continue for now. And what is Rock doing at home? Just building tons of vehicle plants. So again, this is Rock's style. He will stay on T1 as long as he can. As long as it's still working for him. So Rock may just be trying to kill EXE. He doesn't want to let the game go to T2 at all. And it's a little bit of a different situation in this game because EXE does not have the huge ball of storms. All he has are flashes. And in a numbers game, flashes can just get overwhelmed by instigators. Or if Rock starts building levelers, that will absolutely massacre the flashes. So this game, it is a little bit less likely that EXE can just push off Rock's attacks. I'd like to see Rock building some levelers in here, maybe some raiders as well. Instigators are strong, but they're better when you mix them with some different units. Kind of more diverse composition. Could help Rock in this situation. It might help EXE as well. Some javelins, very decent against instigators. They outrange them. If microed well, they can deal with instigators pretty well. But EXE, I think, is just struggling to defend himself. Doesn't really have much time to think about that. Rock defending himself, defending his expansions very well. With all these light laser towers. Like I said, EXE needs to harass. EXE needs to get some economic damage and raiding done, but he just hasn't been able to. He's just been on the back foot. And Rock, even with an HLT here, which EXE won't even be able to kill in time, and all these light laser towers make it to where EXE can't even effectively kill this southwest base. EXE trying to hold on. Got a little outpost. But it looks like EXE may just give up. He knows he's super far behind, and he will tap out there. So, guys, I said this was the best of 3, and it still technically is. There is a third game. I didn't know how the games go. But the third game is also on this map. So EXE will try to get revenge on Dark Comet. Can he come back? Can he do something differently? I would recommend that he go vehicle first because, if I'm being honest, I think K-Bot first on this map is trolling. K-Bot first on many maps is actually amazing. It's better than vehicles. But on this map, you almost have to go vehicles first with an equally skilled player. So can EXE get revenge on this map? Can he come up with something? He knows what Rock's going to do now. He's played against him several times, and maybe he can come up with something to beat this man. We will see here in Game 3. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game 3 of this set between EXE and Rock. Now, again, like I said, I had not watched these games previously, so I did not know what was going to happen. I called it a best of 3, but Rock has already won 2 games. However, in this third game, can EXE come back? He now knows what Rock will probably do. He has a good idea. So can he come back in Game 2 and do something amazing, something that will catch Rock off guard and win that way? Again, Rock's macro just seems impeccable. It's difficult to beat him in a war of attrition, just in terms of taking the map. And in fighting games, you would call it the neutral. So if any of you guys watch fighting games, I'm a huge fan of the Super Smash Brothers series. I'm a big fan of like Melee and Project M. In these games, there's basically an aspect of the game called the neutral, and that's where both players. That's your skill at performing essentially on a flat stage directly with your opponent, with no ledges or obstacles or items or any other thing that could possibly give you some kind of unique or unfair advantage. So in the fighting game, this would be called the neutral. Rock feels like in the neutral extremely strong. It's hard to just beat him in a straight up clean fight with no underhanded punches or uppercuts or knees to the balls or whatever it is that EXE does. Rock very hard to beat in a clean fight. So EXE is typically better in these situations where he can catch you off guard. There's a game I played against EXE recently where it's almost worth casting because what he did was so unexpected and amazing that he just crushed me. I can't even really explain it. It might be worth casting if I just want to embarrass myself, but I had beat him the 2 previous games, but he just did the most unexpected, insane thing, and just absolutely destroyed me. So this is what EXE is good at doing. He is, of course, very, very strong as a player in general, but he prefers to do things out of the ordinary. I think if EXE really wanted to be a kind of more of a standard player, he could, but that is just not his style. He loves to do the crazy stuff, and that is why we love him. So EXE with some early Jeffies, getting a mechs early on, so that's something. EXE getting something done, playing a little more of a standard game this time with the early harassment. I think EXE does better as well when he's in the driver's seat. So when EXE is in control of the game, when he's the one being the aggressor, when he's the one keeping all the pressure on Rock. In the last cast that I did with these two on Slated Hatred, EXE nearly won the game. It was amazing that Rock came back from that. Just absolutely incredible. I don't know what kind of hacks Rock had to incorporate into the game in order to win that, but either way, EXE definitely feels like he does better when he's the one in the driver's seat and dictating the pace of the battle, not letting Rock do that. Rock, on the other hand, is perfectly content to play defensively. We've seen him play defensively. He doesn't have to be in control of the game to win. He's very good at just taking all of your attacks in stride and hanging on. Playing defensively and defending himself until he can counterattack with an overwhelming force. Again, Rock's macro is quite impeccable. This is hard to beat him in a economic game. Not impossible, though. There's definitely players that can do it, especially Pro TA players. I think Venom would definitely be able to match his macro ability. Breezy, Divine, who else am I thinking? There's several players that can do it, but they're mostly Pro TA players. Harold could do it as well. Harold, definitely the best escalation player we have. Seems to win every tournament without much trouble. But still, Rock definitely one of the best. Showing us that here. EXE has been aggressive, but Rock taking these attacks in stride. Can he save this con, though? A nicely placed late laser tower. And he will just, I think, reclaim this flash. This is the most disrespectful thing you can do. He's not even worried. Not even worried about losing his con. Not even close. This thing was never going to die. So, reclaiming that flash, he will continue to expand. EXE has gotten some economic damage done. He's been annoying. But nonetheless, I still think this is the position that EXE likes to be in, or at the very least, it's the position he does better in when he can keep the pace of the battle going his way. Now, one of the reasons I think that this suits EXE's playstyle more is that when you are the aggressor, you know, when you have all of your pieces in their base, all of your chess pieces on their side of the board, you're able to better assess what they're doing. Information is half the battle, or knowing is half the battle. So when EXE knows what his opponent is doing, he can better counter it or come up with some unorthodox way to beat it. So I think that's another reason that EXE performs better when he is in that role of raiding their side of the map and essentially dictating the pace of the game. And as you can see, EXE really kind of, with a soft contain in StarCraft terms, on our boy Rock here. He's got a nice group of flashes out here. However, Rock with a decently placed light laser towers that will ward off some aggression, but EXE moving through the south here will take out that mechs. Probably this mechs as well. So EXE still getting some harassment done, still being effective with these raids. Again, I think EXE much more comfortable in this kind of position. Able to keep his opponent on his toes. Keep Rock from expanding. You just can't let Rock expand uncontested, or he will just take over the map completely. He will simply spread over the map like a plague or a virus, and just can't let him do that. EXE might even be able to get a con here. That would be a big pickup. I think he will get it. So EXE much more effective this game with his raiding and harassment. It's definitely more of EXE's style. Looking much better this game for a red player, as Rock does attempt his first real counterattack at the north part of the map. EXE, however, is ready. But even with all this harassment, EXE still behind economically. Rock's macro is simply impeccable. His ability to expand even while being attacked, even while under constant pressure, that's a skill. I can tell you as a player, when you are under constant pressure, it is very, very hard to keep your construction vehicles expanding and to keep your base, keep everything moving and working as correctly. Keep your micromanagement skills active when you're just trying to defend your base and move your armies around. Rock very good at that, though. He will not be deterred even by EXE's constant shenanigans. And EXE just doesn't really have that many constructors. He's got 2. 2 constructors and his commander in the middle, but that seems to be it. EXE falling behind on macro as Rock has now built his 3rd vehicle plant and has at least 3 cons of his own, if not more. Looks like 3. He had a 4th, but it died. But again, even though EXE has been very proactive, Rock still proving to be a very fierce opponent here. Very difficult to stop. And he's also found a weak spot, a chink in EXE's armor, as there's really just not that much up here. 1 light laser tower, but EXE's commander not up here. No D-gun available. We will have to bring some flashes to stop this. EXE attempting his own aggression, but ultimately Rock getting something done, killing a couple solars and some mexes as well. So nice defense by EXE, but as you can see, Rock now moving his forces out en masse. And I do think that these guys played all these games in one day, so it was just like a huge marathon of games. I can tell you that does get mentally exhausting after a while. It is difficult to keep playing at your peak performance after so many games in a row. Your hands, your wrists start to hurt, your brain starts to hurt, start to feel a little tired. So I'm sure both these players not playing at their absolute best, but still putting on quite a performance. EXE with a well-placed LLT, but there's not enough. 1 LLT won't be quite enough to stop this many instigators, and now going into K-bots. However, 2 more LLTs will be able to stop this with some flashes moving in for support. EXE will stop that, and also fighting this aggression here on the western side. But, you know, Rock starting to get some damage done. Starting to be pretty annoying. EXE's commander is here. So he will be protected. This base will be protected for now. Nice D-gun. Going into K-bots. But EXE, this is his 2nd lab. Now working on his 3rd. And Rock has been on 3 for a while. So Rock has been outproducing EXE for a while now. EXE has only been on 1 vehicle plant this whole time. So it's amazing that EXE's even held on as long as he has, being triple outproduced by Rock. EXE going to attempt to rectify that with 2 K-Bot labs. Probably going to go into Rocco's very soon. Rocco's, like I said, kings of T1 if you can hit a critical mass, but they are slow and they're not as great on open maps like this where you can simply avoid them with the instigators or just be where they are not. So EXE needs a little bit of time to catch up here, but struggling with energy as you can see. Rock has 250 more energy per second than EXE, and his army size is just so much bigger. It's like impressively larger. But it's not that surprising. EXE has only been on 1 vehicle plant this whole time. 14 minutes into the game before he really got up 2 more K-Bot labs. So Rock is going to have a much bigger army. EXE is just going to have to hold on until he can pump out some K-Bots to catch up. But will he have time to catch up? Will EXE have the opportunity? Rock is not going to give it to him. He will not give it away for free. Rock targeting EXE's energy economy, which is a problem because EXE was already struggling. And EXE may not even have energy for a D-gun, which would be potentially deadly for him. He does have energy for 1 D-gun. Looks like his energy has returned, but the problem is Commander is in trouble. EXE does seem to have it well in hand. With a few nice D-guns and some good micro, he will push his opponent back, and so the game will continue. EXE still pumping out just Pee-wees right now, which is a little surprising. I would think Rockos or Warriors or something other than Pee-wees here. Pee-wees are not very strong past the first, 5-10 minutes of the game. They really fall off pretty quickly. They just have a lot less health than instigators and flashes. And they tend to be vulnerable to any kind of AoE. Levelers eat them alive. So there's some problems building flashes 60 minutes into the game, or building Pee-wee 60 minutes into the game. Seems a bit desperate. I'd like to see Rockos or Warriors. EXE, though, he does have potentially the better map position. He has claimed control of the mid. I've mentioned in previous casts why having control of the mid is important. But, again, now finally pumping out Rockos. That is a good call, I think, if he can get enough of them. But the problem is these Pee-wees are going to be almost useless. I think these levelers are going to kill them basically before they can get a shot off. It's really not even close. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. This is a difficult situation for EXE. But he's keeping Rock busy, but Rock's inclusion of these levelers into the mix, such a potent strategy. They're just so strong against flashes and Pee-wees. They just tear them apart so quickly. It's not even really a contest, and EXE will need to hit a critical mass of Rockos to even be able to defend himself against what Rock currently has. But I don't know, Rock is expanding everywhere, and now on air as well, building bombers. Of course, he's not really committing to bombers. He's going to need more build power to build these bombers in any kind of reasonable fashion. The thing about bombers is they're strong, but they take forever to build. So you really need to have a lot of build power to make that strategy work. But EXE in a ton of trouble, even with all these defenses. Rock's army looking unstoppable here. EXE may lose these K-Bot labs, and if he loses these K-Bot labs, it is all but over. Even with all these Rockos. It's still not enough. Oh my god, I take that back. It is enough. This K-Bot lab living with just a sliver of health. I can't believe EXE has saved it, but could it not even matter, because Rock with yet another trick up his sleeve. He's got an ace in the hole here on the top left corner of the map. And EXE, I don't know if he has enough to stop this. I know I just said that in the middle, but he doesn't have any Rockos up here. The Rockos are what allowed him to survive that last engagement. But there's no Rockos up here, and I think Orange making a mistake by pulling back. He had enough to probably just kill all of this with the levelers. Maybe slightly overestimating how much EXE has up here. But that is more of Rock's style. Rock will play safe. Doesn't like to take risky engagements if he doesn't have to. This one bomber now flying around the map, targeting mexes, but it won't get that much. It will get 2, so it's annoying. But The problem is Rock is now on T2 and EXE barely surviving on T1. And Rock will now attempt this attack. I don't know why he's doing it now. I think it would have been better about a minute ago before EXE had time to prepare. But even still, these levelers are so effective against the flash spam. These light laser towers may be enough to push this back just barely. And again, the Rockos here, very well positioned. If he micros them, he's going to have to kite back. He needs to move these. EXE paying attention to other things. Doesn't want to let everything get into range. He does move them back in time, and as you can see, Rocco's extremely strong against levelers and instigators. So Rocco's are sort of EXE's salvation in this situation, but it's going to lose another construction vehicle. And the problem is Rock both on air and pumping out Reapers. This is starting to become an untenable situation for our red player. One Reaper can just get so much done, and EXE just in a horrible, horrible situation. Taking out another construction vehicle of EXE's. And as you can see, Rock just has so much control over the map, and now with this bomber. In a pretty bad position with the Reapers being pumped out en masse now. And Rock not even attempting to build cons. Rock just, I think, trying to win the game. He's not even attempting to upgrade his... typically when you go to T2, you'll build a couple advanced constructors to try to upgrade your eco, but Rock smelling blood in the water, or sensing blood in the water, and going for the kill here. EXE building warriors, but even warriors are not going to stand much of a chance against an army of Reapers. This one Reaper, however, kind of getting caught in the thick of it, will die, but I don't think it matters because there's more Reapers on the way. Like I said, Rock not even attempting to bolster his economy or think of the late game. He's just going for the jugular, going for the killing blow here. He's found a path into EXE's base here in the north, taking out some eco and defenses. EXE is so far behind in terms of his metal. Rock at almost 100 metal per second. EXE on 36. So EXE only making about a third of the metal of his opponent, and that's without Rock having any mohos. This is all just T1 mexes. Rock has just taken over the map. Again, you just can't really let Rock do this, but the difficulty is that EXE did try to stop him. It's not as though EXE rested on his laurels. He was very active and aggressive in an early part of the game. It just didn't matter. Rock so good at breaking these engagements and continuing to come out on top. And just placing defenses everywhere, so it's hard to even harass you. Hard to even harass him. It's such a difficult style to play against. Very methodical. Yeah, EXE realizing this is over. Just so far behind economically and in terms of tech, and is so far behind in terms of the military as well. Very well played by both players, but Rock will take all three games off of EXE there. However, I do have a few more games of theirs to cast. I will bring it to you in one of my next videos. Probably not the next video. I'll probably go for the next video, do like another team game or some bigger... I try to mix up my content, so we've got some 1v1s, some 2v2s, and then some bigger like 4v4 or 5v5 style games. So guys, in this particular set, Rock does come out on top, but EXE wants revenge, and I have faith in EXE. I believe that EXE can come back and get his revenge on Rock. I'm sure he can figure out a way to break through the armor, to knock down the wall. So we will have to see in this the next set I cast between these guys. Guys, please join my Discord. Subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate all your support, and I will see you in the next cast.